Let's chop up this story that is lighting up Twitter right now and lighting up the NBA Twitter world and the sports world. It's kind of a confluence of a couple things. First, Stephen A. Smith's remarkable influence in our industry about driving a conversation. He's been talking about LeBron potentially being traded away from the Lakers. He's got another year left on his deal, and there's a conversation to be had about an extension because he loves playing here. And, I think he loves playing here. He just had one of the worst seasons of his career, and he said that, it was a blast. And so I think he likes living out here. And so everyone's talking about that as the Lakers are between a rock and a hard place, no coach, and a roster that appears to be unworkable based on the way they just played this year. And then there's the Los Angeles Times conversation that Bill Plaschke of the LA Times just had with Jeanie Buss the other day, where she's talking about the future and the direction of this franchise. And then Bill, who clearly would know what's going on, says that Phil Jackson, who in the conversation he had with Jeanie Buss, is in the mix of having Jeanie Buss's ear about what to do next, as does having Jeanie Buss's ears, as does Rob Pelinka, the general manager, and Kurt Rambis, who's been with the organization for a very long time. His wife, Linda's part of the organization, who has Jeanie Buss's ear. And she says Magic Johnson is back in the mix after he said, I don't know if I want to be with him anymore. A conversation you were in the media scrum, if you will, for that night in Staples Center.
Standing there as he walked over to the podium right outside of the locker room, and he took it and he just went on a diatribe. And those of us that have been around the team for a long time had never seen that side of Magic. He always is so composed. He choreographs everything, and he lost his mind.
He said he wasn't going to be. He quit his job before telling Jeanie Buss about it. But Magic's now back in the mix to talk to Jeanie about what to be done or what should be done. And Bill's Plaschke, according to his reporting, is that Phil Jackson is telling Jeanie Buss, get rid of LeBron, but keep Russell Westbrook. Which I think, if I'm just informing a Laker fan of this right now, they just drove off the road. And everyone's wondering what the hell is going on with the Lakers' decision-making process if it's just one big, huge melting pot. And Jeanie says it's my final decision. But she's hearing from a ton of counties right now, to say the least. And I don't believe it. I don't think they're trading LeBron in a million years. They're not trading LeBron. I don't think they're doing it. Period. End of story. I think there's no chance they do it. And the reason why I think there's no chance they're doing it, and you may say that this is kind of crazy and that sort of thing. Uh-oh. Is that Jeanie calling me right now?
That's breaking news right now, guys.
That sounds like Susie's computer. She's getting a phone call right now. But, to me, it sounds like, to me, they're never going to do it, and you might think I'm crazy about it, but it's because LeBron's going to break Kareem's scoring record. And they're not going to have LeBron do it in somebody else's uniform.
But they want to win.
And Jeanie Buss said, this is the quote that I don't know many people paying attention to it at the end of the story that I'm referring to, that Bill Plaschke interviewed her, said about LeBron, I want him to feel confident in the team that we have the pieces to win a championship. He has to be happy. I want to make sure that he's happy. And if what makes him happy staying put, he's going to stay here and break Kareem's scoring record in a Laker uniform.
I don't know. I feel like this is all about control, as it always is with the Lakers. And one thing about Jeanie that I know is she hates it when the narrative continues that she's out of control with this team, that Linda Rambis is really calling the shots with player relations. She says in this article with Plaschke that clearly she's not. She talks about how Kurt's been around forever. But if you look behind the scenes and you start to look in the DNA, and I was texting with one of the Lakers from the three-peat earlier, this smells like a big move several things that they hate. They hate the deflection of attention with winning time right now. They hate that they're not controlling the narrative. They're looking for a new head coach. So if LeBron's coming into his 20th year, Phil's talking in her ear.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget, Phil likes players that listen. He can't stand it. We saw that with Michael. We saw that with the Shaq and Kobe. Phil likes players that are willing to mold to a system. And as they look to build with a new head coach, could it be possible that this is her move of being Khaleesi, that she becomes the mother of dragons again and shows that this is the legacy that she wants to build
by
for this
trading
team?
away LeBron?
Could be. She likes big, splashy things the same way Dr. Buss did.
Well, you know, Kobe told her to be Khaleesi. That's what he told her. As a matter of fact, I asked him that, Kobe, when I interviewed him, I think it was that 3 years ago on 8/24, 2018. Wow, gosh damn it. 4 years ago this summer. The late Kobe Bryant. I asked him that about that piece of advice for Jeanie Buss. Let's roll that back.
I had Jeanie Buss on my show last week. She said that you sent her a text when LeBron came to the Lakers of her as the mother of dragons. You sent her a Khaleesi photograph to her phone.
I did.
What was your intention on that?
I sent her a gif of Khaleesi riding in on 1,000 ships behind her with Tyrion next to her and everybody next to her. So I said, this is what you are. I mean, when I spoke to her about making her decision, I told her, I said, at some point, Jeanie, you have to become Khaleesi. You got to be the mother of dragons.
The decision with her family?
You got to claim what is rightfully yours and go for it, man. So I felt like that was appropriate to send her that gift.
That was when there was a battle amongst her family about control of the Lakers, which she eventually did win. You're saying she just needs to go Khaleesi on the roster. And I don't know why LeBron would be, the Iron Throne to be destroyed. I don't know how that could be what needs to be torched down. And that's what Phil thinks she should do. Is
it her team or is it LeBron's team? Yeah. That's all I would throw out.
Or is it the Rambis' team? Or is it like, I don't know if she needs to like totally breathe fire to make sure that happens. And I think she, just like Dr. Buss wanted magic, she wants her all-time great when that all-time great breaks the Lakers' all-time great scoring record. And LeBron's just 1,326 points off of Kareem's record. Last year, when he played just 56 games, he had 1,700 points almost. He's going to break it
this year.
The only time he's not had 1,500 points in a season was the year before, the awful 2020 to 21 season. We played just 45 games, just 1,100 points. He's going to break it. He's going to break it next season. They're not trading him. There's no way. And how is that the way out? Like, what are we talking about? The way out is to have Westbrook run it? You're gonna sell that to the Laker fan base? Really? I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna follow. And by the way, let's just and I say this with the ultimate respect for somebody who's got 11 rings. Knick fans did not appreciate his roster building process at all. So I'm just calling it as I see it. But you're saying there are some people that you're texting with that think she should just breathe fire and blow it down and make sure that she's the last Buss standing.
100%.
And that she's running the team.
Yeah, 100%. Big time Lakers.
And I don't know why that means LeBron's got to go. When it's the Westbrook contract that is holding so many things up. And the information people that we speak to, they can trade Westbrook's contract to somebody that can get them out from under it and maybe bring a couple players back, one or two players back. You put it on the credit card and maybe it costs you down the line. But I don't know. Winning with LeBron right now and Anthony Davis, and I understand she's got to tell Clutch Sports, this is my team, it's not your plaything. But there's a big, huge moment to have for the Lakers, and they value that just as much as what everything else you're saying. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.